Oh my god, have you guys seen this TikTok that is going around? It is going viral. It's got over a couple million views at this point. Now the girl gets a portrait of her boyfriend right in the center of her throat, and that's not the worst part. I mean, I'm not going to judge her for doing what she wants to do. More power to you. But this is so terrible. There's so many red flags throughout. The artist is not wearing gloves in places when he's applying the stencil. He didn't prep the skin at all. No shaving or cleaning ahead of time. And then he goes to put the stencil on, and he puts it on in 2 different pieces. This is just a major red flag when you're getting a portrait. You do not want the stencil put on in 2 different pieces. You want it to be as precise as possible. And in the end, as you can imagine, after all these red flags they didn't notice, the portrait turned out like this. Oh, good God. Just a nightmare. Oh, this poor guy's eyes. Look at that. That doesn't even look like normal human eyes, let alone his eyes. Oh, it's just brutal all around. You guys tagged me about 1,000,000 times in this video, so you want to see a review of his work? All right, let's do it. Let's break it down. Today we're going to be talking about So Sprayed. You can find him on Instagram, SOO Sprayed on Instagram. If you want to see his work, he's got a ton of it on there. It goes back many, many years. He has been doing this a long time. And you can find him working somewhere in Milwaukee. I don't know. I wasn't about to call him to set up an appointment for myself to find out. But if you want to see his studio, it's a basement, basically, that I would say he converted it, but really he just put a bunch of stuff for tattooing in there. It's not really a tattoo shop. And God, I hope that is red ink on the floor. Jesus. But man, you look at his studio setup, I don't know what's going on here. You zoom in and you can see he's got the epoxy black flooring, he's got the cream tiles, he's got the industrial mat, he's got the gray tiles. How many types of floors do you need, bro? It's so weird. And if you go into somebody's basement and there's children's drawings of cartoons on the wall, and then you see ripped furniture, I mean, it's pretty obvious you're not in a good spot to get a tattoo, I think. But I'll digress. The original poster, he said the reason that they went to him was because the artist sent them an awesome portrait that looked great.
Before we went to him, that he showed how his work is. It don't look bad.
This is the one that he sent them, and if I zoom in here, I see a lot of telltale signs, but I know the average person might, when you're zoomed out, you're looking on your phone, a tiny little picture, that looks pretty good, right? It bears a resemblance to the photo, so I think a lot of people might think it's good enough, but when I zoom in here, he did a lot of really amateurish things, outlining the eyes, filling the eyes in solid white in there, outlining all the hair that way. This background is just strange and chunky, so I see a lot of red flags, especially when he puts his stencil up here. Now, the way he did this is really, really cheaply done. He just put a few little reference linings in the stencil here. He did not really go the extra mile to get all these shadows. Look on her forehead, there's no reference for shadows there. In the lips, there's no reference for shadows in there. And so when he's tattooing it, he's just winging those things. He's not trying to get them precise. He's just trying to get them close enough. And that kind of shows me a laziness. And check out some of his other work, portrait-wise, same thing. He does the same technique where he just does really cheap, quick stencils, puts them on. They bear a resemblance, but there's not really any texture or detail that would say it's a perfect realism portrait. And here's another one he did on a neck, which, of course, if you're getting your neck tattooed, you gotta look at the artist's neck work. Do they know what they're doing, or are they just beating the hell out of the skin? Oh my gosh. And then, yeah, I zoom in here, you can see how poorly and cheaply done that is. So I think it was pretty obvious in this case. Most of his work just looked really, really overly simplified, very, very cheap, quick stuff. Here's another one. Look at this pocket watch. What's even going on in the center there? Just random lines like it's busted or something? I don't even understand what he was going for there. Then he fills the background in with a solid black patch. Like, just call it good. This one, oh my gosh, look at that face. Ugh. And then these letters, again, this is a red flag. We've pointed it out many times. You can see in these letters, the outline is significantly darker than the black fill-in in the inside. This is because an artist needs to take time and fill this in real tight and solid and saturated. But when an artist just kind of rushes it in, zips it in black, that's what it looks like. You can see the outline much darker than the inside. Here is a Medusa piece, and check out these silly looking snakes. Oh gosh, I will forever never understand why people with a minimal amount of art skills, like the bare minimum, would pursue a career in art. I don't understand this at all. This particular piece was actually a cover-up. This is what the girl was covering up. Weirdly enough, this looks better to me than this. I'm not saying it's great, but this artist looked like they had more skill than this one. So I don't know why you would take a decent tattoo and cover it up with a horrible tattoo. I don't understand it. It's pretty obvious. So Sprayed, he's going on our scratcher list. Yeah, he can't go on the hack list because he doesn't work out of a studio. So he's absolutely a scratcher, and these guys should have known it before they went to him. If you want to see some more of his work, stick around. I'll keep it playing. But otherwise, hang out for part number 2. We're going to check out some artists in Milwaukee and give him a little bit of redemption. Let's find an awesome one, huh? All right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.